What's up guys, it's me Jeremy. Welcome to another Breaking the Meta, where I try out things that don't fit the meta and then report back on them. Today's episode is about sending double Bruiser duo bot lane. And since it isn't about a general champion, this episode will of course feature less of the guide part and more of the analyses part. Now why I chose to test double Bruiser bot lane is because it's a setup that's been tried tons of times and is believed by many pros to be a superior bot lane to the support and AD carry setup of the current meta. Without further ado, let's go over the pros and cons of double Bruiser bot. Starting with the pros. First is that it's designed to counter an AD carry. Two Bruisers are very strong against an AD carry, especially if their team does not peel for them, as you can just jump on them and kill them really fast. Next is that it either creates a very tanky team or allows for a high damage, less tanky top lane or jungler. Having a team that is tanky allows your whole team to be very strong in team fights, because you can survive and engage from your opponents while also easily winning an engage you create for yourselves. Because double Bruiser bot lane is very strong in fights, it has a very solid late game. A double Bruiser setup does amazing if you build the team comp around it by simply just diving straight for the AD carry and then just killing everyone else after that. The damage of a late game AD carry will become non-existent due to your hard engage and amazing follow-up, creating a solid late game. That, or you can send an AD carry top and protect them very easily in fights due to your tankiness. Double Bruiser bot lane also snowballs fairly hard. If you can get even just a few kills in lane, you'll be incredibly strong in team fights and have a very easy time carrying your team. Lastly, double Bruiser bot lane is an unconventional pick. This makes it fairly hard to play against, especially if you can manage to master the matchups you would be playing against. Now moving on to the cons. First is that double Bruiser is countered by most support champions because of their ability to kite you. This can make the laning phase somewhat hard because it does give you quite a few bad matchups. However, it's all relative, and most of the time you will have a decent laning phase, as you can still perform solidly against a lot of support champions. Also, heal and barrier are very strong summoner spells against double Bruiser bot lane. The AD carry can do a lot of damage in lane if they can survive long enough in a prolonged engagement, so you have to watch out for those summoner spells. Also, double Bruiser bot lane is fairly easy to snowball against. If you die a few times in lane, you'll become pretty much useless, and you'll get destroyed in fights by a fed AD carry. Now will be a good time to mention the bad matchups for double Bruiser bot lane. You perform poorly against any strong AD carry that has a good escape and good poke, so that would be Ezreal, Caitlyn, and Graves right now.
In addition to Vayne because of her condemn.
While you also perform poorly against any support that has strong disengage on a short cooldown that is not blocked by minions, to where they can just use their spells and end your engage every time you try to make something happen. This leaves Alistar, Lulu, Thresh, and Janna to be horrible matchups for the double Bruiser bot lane. Thresh and Lulu in particular are terrible because they also have great poke, in addition to their phenomenal disengage. For the laning phase, most of your matchups will be actually fairly hard. Even if a support doesn't counter you, all competitive supports can still do really well in lane because of their nature to kite the two of you, which is the main mechanic the double Bruiser bot loses to, solid kiting. It's very important to avoid getting kited, but try to maintain your job of shutting down the AD carry. If you know your limits, you can jump in at the right time for a one trade or an easy kill or two, since engaging in a fight will be so easy for you. All it takes is about 2 kills to snowball ridiculously hard and have an easy time carrying team fights. Ideally, it would be best to share CS, but if you find the two of you missing CS when you try to CS together, it can often be a good idea to just let the person who is better at killing those minions to get all of them. For the teamfight phase, this is where double Bruiser bot shines. You're already tanky because you guys are bruisers, and you can perform very strongly. If you win your lane, it's like having 3 top laners on your team, while if you lose your lane, it's like having 3 junglers on your team. But it's very easy to just dive onto the enemy AD or AP carries and obliterate them, and the damage they provide to the team, resulting in an easy cleanup for you and the rest of your team. If you can dive the back lines and kill the carries of the opposing team, killing the tanks will be fairly easy, just due to your CC and raw numbers advantage. It's important to build your entire team comp around this bot lane. What this means is to create a comp to synergize with those picks. Decide if you want a dive team or a peel team. For a dive team, take mid laners like Diana or Akali that can easily follow up your dives onto the enemy AD carries with massive damage, or other picks like Jarvan or Malphite top, Lee Sin jungle, etc. Or for a peel team, take champions that don't necessarily do a lot of damage, but can be great at kiting and ganking for your AD carry top. Champions like Maokai, Nautilus, or Cho'Gath can be great for these comps as long as you peel for your AD carry. Now for both comps, there are of course picks that I didn't mention. Those are just a few solid examples as to what could work. Note that poke comps are pretty much impossible without a support, because you need the invaluable disengage they provide to safely poke down your opponents, so creating a poke comp based on double Bruiser bot lane usually isn't a very good idea. Overall, double Bruiser bot lane has a weak laning phase, but a fairly solid teamfight phase. It is a very high risk, high reward lane that can be a ton of fun to play and is actually kind of decent. It's important to form a team comp around the actual pick, and I would, and actually have, played this comp in ranked games. So that's it for this episode of Breaking the Meta. I'd love it if you could support me with a like or some feedback in the comments, and if you have any questions, I would absolutely love to see you in the comments too. Also, I made a Facebook and a Twitter page, so I'll have links in the description if you want to follow me on those. Please subscribe for more awesome content in the future if you enjoyed this video, and as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.